Hey everyone, I know it's spring, but it's never too early to think about harvest. Geringhoff is head of the class no matter the crop, making premium harvesting heads for all your harvesting needs. Check them out at geringhoff.com.
Right down here on the border of California, Mexico, and Arizona, and we're growing all of your major lettuces during the winter months, your romaines, your icebergs, mixed lettuces. We do a lot of spinaches, cilantro, parsley, spring mix, celery, bok choy, napa. I mean, pretty much every vegetable that you've ever picked off your plate or your burger, we're growing it.
There is a podcast in Iowa, Farm4Profit was named by they. Fate stirred up a banker near, then quick came an auctioneer. Making profit was their first goal, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go. These formats shook us to our core. With Farm4Fun, you will not snore. The banker set all mics to on, and the mullet of podcasts was born. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go. Before we knew, conversations grew. Growing corn even said F you. So won't you join Tenor, Dave, Corey, and crew? Please like, share, review. Soon may the farmers come to bring us guests and beer and fun. One day when the recording's done, we'll take our mics and go.
Hey, listeners, welcome back to the Farm4Profit Podcast. This is Tanner Winterhoff.
This is Corey Hillebo.
And this is David Whitaker.
Farm for Fun Week.
Woo!
Wow, that was probably the most excited.
I'm trying to be excited here.
I don't know if I've ever heard Corey. Woo!
Well, we haven't been in the studio for a while. I've had a lot of pent-up emotion from not being able to plant.
That's right. Yeah, we are recording this ahead of schedule. Our listeners like to know when these get recorded. We are currently on the 6th of May. And Corey, how many acres do you have planted?
0.
0? Okay, yeah. So that gives some perspective as to where we sit. Corey is 0% planted.
But if the old weather ball looks like it's Friday, May 6th, hopefully Monday we're rolling. I don't know. We're supposed to get a little bit of rain maybe Sunday, Mother's Day, so we'll see.
Good. Well, listeners, thank you for jumping on with us. Hopefully, we're going to help you pass some time in the cab. Remember to hit subscribe if you haven't. Leave us a review if you haven't. If you've got an idea for a cool guest, farm4profitllc@gmail.com. And as always, we try to feature those cool listener reviews. So today, it's brought to you by BW Fusion. Just a reminder, when you sign up at least 500 acres of their products and you mention Farm for Profit, you get one free field enrolled in their 365 program. And as you've already heard this spring, there's a lot of value to tracking the soil and tissue samples and even biomass samples through that 365 program. So, Dave, where did our review come from this week?
But to get that, they got to mention Farm for Profit.
Yeah, they do. You're right.
Yeah. So this one came from Spotify at Mark Sands 17. I love your shows. Keep up the good work. I love that you love our shows.
Nice. I like these short ones and simple. They all count. They all matter.
Yeah.
These are a lot easier.
As long as it's 5 stars.
These are a lot easier for us to do.
And don't forget, you can leave us a voicemail or a text message now at 515-207-9640. All the ones we've gotten so far have not been airworthy.
Yeah, which
they're very, very funny.
Kudos to you, but let's keep it coming.
Yeah. So we need some more.
Yeah. Awesome. Did we get the announcements out of the way?
I think so.
Are we good?
Let's get at it here. It's only in my left ear. Is that how it's supposed to be? It's freaking me out. I hope it doesn't mess me up. Today on the Farm for Fun show, we head southwest to meet up with another tremendous social media follow. He has over 316,000 followers on TikTok and seems to have a knack for beautiful video editing and growing of produce. So good that there's a cult-like following that thinks he's fake and uses a green screen.
A green screen?
Green screen. Or does he? From Yuma, Arizona, Mr. John Dinsmore, the Farmer Jon.
All right.
Man, that's the introduction.
Except for green screen. How's it going there? The green screen farmer himself.
That's right.
That's right.
Let's just get it out of the way. Do you use a green screen?
You still can't say it right.
I know.
So here's the deal. It was never in my intention to mislead TikTok. But once I realized how few individuals across the TikTok community have seen what vegetable production looks like in straight rows, sunny days in the middle of winter, and how many people said, man, it's not windy, it just looks fake, I had to go with it a little bit. I may or may not have borrowed one of my son's green screens 2 or 3 times. And normally what I tell my viewers in my lives is I'll say, hey, here's a challenge. Go tell me which videos you think were the fake ones. I've only done 3 or 4. I mean, one of them is so blatant, the romaine disappears in my hands with the editing. But one of them, I was in the field and I said, okay. And then my little girl said, that's a wrap. And they moved the green screen and it was my backyard on a Sunday afternoon. So I did have to have a little fun with it.
Yeah, you do. That's exactly the reason people follow you is if you didn't have fun with it, it wouldn't be nearly as exciting.
Right?
Yeah.
So, John, how'd you get on TikTok?
Man, probably a similar story to many people. A couple years ago, one of my children, well, my oldest at the time, was wanting to get it and told my wife, you know what, I'll jump on and I'll try to learn about it and just kind of maybe just keep an eye, if you will. Mm-hmm. And posted my first video thinking, you know what, I'm going to embarrass my children. Let's do that. And it started to gain traction right out of the gate and started posting videos of things that I think are just common knowledge out here because I'm 4 generations here in the desert Southwest and things that I see every day, you don't, and vice versa. I don't know much about your world of farming. And so once people started asking a lot of questions and, I guess accusing me of fakery, some tomfoolery, if you will, I had to have some fun with it and just really started to make as many videos as I could, trying to embarrass my children. And then the more the people enjoyed it, and I realized there's a lot of parents out there doing the same, I thought, you know what, let's take it a little more serious and have some fun.
So let's learn a little bit more about that. You said you have some children. What does family life look like?
It's fun. We've got 5 children, my wife and I. Been married 16 years, and I always say I have 5 potential 5th generation farmers at home, and we ranged from 7 to just turned 18 a couple days ago. And, we're slowly starting to enter that realm of if any of the kids wants to kind of take in and, start farming with me. And what I try to tell them on the daily is I would much rather them follow a passion and follow something that just lights a fire in them than look at the farm as something that they almost are obligated to be around. And so right now it's just been a lot of fun in the house. Everybody's getting older and keeping us entertained. And I think that's kind of what you'll see on my TikTok a lot. If it wasn't for my kids and my wife letting me be sarcastic and silly, I'd probably be pretty boring on TikTok.
Yeah, I like how you phrase that. Potential 5th generation farmers. It's not a forced path. It's not a forced opinion or a lifestyle. You're just making it known that it's an opportunity.
Yeah, I've told them, you know what, I'll be full disclosure. I said, if none of you wants to farm, I am 100% okay with that. My selfish pride hopes that if that's your choice, it's not because I made it look harder than it was or not enjoyable. And so honestly, this whole TikTok deal, I mean, I've been on Instagram 10, 11 years now and had a slow growth there and the other social media platforms. But TikTok has really allowed me to just kind of re-engage with the passions that I have for farming. And it's not just, I'm extremely fortunate to be one of those few in the country that gets to be born into a farm family. And then thankfully I had a desire to continue doing that. But it's something that has really allowed me to kind of express my joys, my sorrows. Our logo on our hat is the view right outside my window here at the office. And the reason we picked that is because I've realized one day I was frustrated and I thought, I'm looking at the same mountain my father, my grandfather, my great-grandfather have stared at, feeling every emotion they probably ever could have: frustrated, happy, rejoicing, angry, confused. And so at the end of the day, I just tell my kids that, whatever it be, I hope you see through all of those bad days and understand that this is a lot of fun.
So what we're looking at right now, is that a green screen?
So here's a photo of what our fields look like, but I actually did think about it. I was looking at my backdrops here and I was thinking about putting a photo up there and starting by standing up. And then I thought, I don't know these fellas yet and I'd hate to start off on the wrong foot.
I
I
would have loved it.
I think we would have ran right with you. Tell us a little bit more about what types of crops you guys are growing out there, because I've never been to Arizona, one, and two, I don't even know what gets grown there.
Yeah, so often when people hear that we farm in Arizona, they ask if it's Wile E. Coyote, the Roadrunner, and there is a lot of that. But right here where Yuma is, we're about 60 miles, give or take, from the Baja. So we will get some pretty intense microbursts and monsoon storms in late summer. But other than that, we average just over 3 inches of rain a year. As we are the sunniest place on earth, the winter lettuce capital of the world. And because we're right on the Colorado River, we've got the oldest grandfathered water rights to the river. And obviously those are fun discussions these days. And I probably shouldn't even be sarcastic about that topic because it's something serious to many of us. But right down here on the border of California, Mexico, and Arizona, and we're growing all of your major lettuces during the winter months, your romaines, your icebergs, mixed lettuces. We do a lot of spinaches, cilantro, parsley, spring mix, celery, bok choy, napa. I mean, pretty much every vegetable that you've ever picked off your plate or your burger, we're growing it.
Wow. Did you say 3 inches?
Yeah, about 3 1/4 a year.
We just had that last week in one shot in an hour.
Yep.
Yeah, I've been looking on TikTok, watching so many of y'all that are saying, well, we got the planter out. Nope, never mind, putting it back.
Yeah.
We got 4 inches, 2 inches, and I'm thinking, that was my annual rainfall.
Yeah. So what is, so I know how fast lettuce goes bad in my fridge. Is that real, or are you're not growing lettuce for the entire year? Your crop hits market right away, doesn't it?
Yeah, so the way our lettuces are grown out here, we'll get our planting schedule figured out here about the 1st of June. Planting unofficially kicks off about September 1. We'll be planting from late August, early September through about January. And often what you'll see, you may get a half an acre of spinach here and there, and just a half an acre of a certain variety. A lot of our lettuce varieties will plant around 10 to 20 acres at a time, and we may get 2 or 3 of those firing up a week. And that way, if we're just one of many farmers doing that, then there will be this incremental flow. Between November and March, that's when everything is really harvested in peak. And during those peak days, they estimate between 1,200 and 1,500 semi-trucks a day are leaving our small community with vegetables going across the country.
Wow.
Whoa.
That is not what I didn't know what to expect you were going to answer, but I didn't expect that.
What's going on the ground before you plant? Like, obviously it's warmer, before September, and are you guys just preparing the ground?
Yeah, so nice thing about the sunny weather here, although the heat in the summer can get pretty ridiculous. I tell people we have 2 seasons here, summer and pre-summer. And this summer months, we're growing alfalfa, Sudan grass, a lot of durum wheat here. And a lot of the durum wheat here that's grown because it's so warm, it's a hardy wheat. Most of it here is actually shipped over to Italy, and it's milled and sent back to the country in the form of, high quality pastas and breads. But a lot of alfalfa Sudan grass will be shipped all across the country. Some of it goes to China and Japan. Also, during the summer months, you'll see a lot of the melons, a lot of cantaloupes, honeydews, watermelons, squash, peppers, a lot of cotton as well.
Okay, so what's the difference between a cantaloupe and a honeydew? Is that the green versus orange?
Yeah. And there's a bunch of different types of cantaloupes as well. The ribbing, the webbing on the rind. Some of them look kind of like a football almost, with actual ribbing down the sides.
Yeah.
The different levels of sugar as well. So when they're out there, I haven't grown cantaloupes in a while, but used to have the what are they called, chlorometer or whatever they're called, little tool that you drop the juice from the cantaloupe on there and you stick it up to the sun so you can kind of gauge the sugar level and if it's time to harvest or not.
Huh. Did you know any of that?
I knew nothing of that.
Wow.
It's mind-blowing.
Well, that's why we're having the conversation. We've never talked to anybody like this before.
Oh, now.
Where did Corey go?
I don't know where Corey went.
I can't even see myself.
So what I'm seeing here is three guys sitting in a field with what looks to be 40 or 42-inch rows. Looks like the beds are wrapped, so I'm going to guess strawberries. I can't tell.
Oh, where did it go, Dave? Yeah, Dave's here messing around with technology. He's definitely the nerd out of all of us.
The Green Screen Podcast.
The Green Screen Podcast. There it is.
And it's now just down to Tanner and Dave because we didn't know where the hell Corey went.
I'll leave.
Just a voice.
Corey got omitted.
That's fine. I'll go.
All right, let's take a little quick break here. Ladies and gentlemen, Salford's newest advancement in tillage technology, the Halo line of tillage implements, has been engineered with over 40 years of tillage innovation, offering a solution for everyone. And in 2022, Salford launched their Halo VRT, the newest generation of tillage implements, combining agronomic performance with new equipment technology for fast operation, ease of use, lower maintenance, and safer transport. Here is Jonathan, a corn producer from Kentucky, to share his thoughts.
First off, with the durability, it is super heavy made. Welds are really good on it. It's just built like a tank. And I tell you what, the wearability on the blades, we went over approximately 4,000 acres with this tool, and they're still 22 and a quarter. Speed is this thing's friend. 10 miles an hour to 12 miles an hour, it's almost like a different machine. And I especially like the narrowness of the roading ability. We had it behind a 500 Case IH quad, and you really didn't have to have a lead, and we have narrow roads down here in Kentucky. You know, on hill ground where we need to keep the residue, we'll straighten it up. On flat bottom ground, we'll angle it slightly to prepare that seed bed a little bit better. The main thing we're doing in the hill ground is just warming soil up to make the crop come up better, and maybe just doing a little bit of leveling. It's a very, very versatile tool. The Salford tool, or the quality of the equipment, is phenomenal. The rep was super good. I mean, anytime I called to have a question, he would always answer the phone. It was probably one of the best experiences I've ever had with a manufacturing company of a piece of equipment.
As a bonus, Farm for Profit listeners only special listeners here, Salford has an exclusive prize that you can win. And remember, that's go to salfordgroup.com, Farm4Profit. You get a chance to win a sweet, epic even, Orion Custom Salford Cooler package. It's going to come to you, of course, when the temperature is heating up. You can keep cool. You can look cool. Put all your beverages in this sweet cooler. Go to salford.com /Farm4Profit and enter win this epic prize. Good luck.
Thanks to Dahl Distributing. What is it, Corey?
It is Millstream Brewing Twig and Berries.
Man, it smells good.
I did not see that.
I didn't look at it either, and I took a drink.
Blueberry
I about spit that out.
Kolsch Ale. Twig and Berries. I feel like we're in an Austin Powers movie.
I feel like we should have sent that to you, John. I feel bad.
Well, here, I grabbed some 805 cerveza from California.
805
Here's to you
that
guys.
sounds classy.
Hey, this is a beer.
Classy.
This is good. I love the Twig and Berries in my mouth.
There it is.
Snap that one.
That's it.
That's the title
There's
of the
the
episode.
soundbite.
It's exactly right. This is very smooth. The blueberry is not. What was it? I think one of these other shows we had a grain belt beer that had a little bit of blueberry on it, and it was really blueberry-y.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of the name of it, and it's escaping me right now. But this is, it's not overpowering. 4.8% alcohol. I don't know. It's almost like it wanted to be a sour beer, but it's not.
Right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
That's probably the coal shale portion of it.
I like it.
So what's an 805 like? You heard how we described ours. What is that?
Y'all
Flavorful?
are asking a guy that drinks a lot of water and iced tea, so it tastes like beer. It's in a nice glass bottle. I'll be honest, I like 805. It's just a beer. I enjoy the flavor. I couldn't tell you anything about the flavor. I like the bottle says cerveza on it because we're on the border. So
is it a lighter beer?
It is.
Okay. Yeah.
Since you're on the border, do you speak Spanish?
Poquito diario estoy practicando mi español, pero necesito aprender más. Every day I'm practicing, but I need to learn more.
There you go.
Más o menos, right?
Más o menos, es todo.
That's pretty good. So, do you get a lot of labor then from H2A? Is that the right terminology?
I think so.
Yeah.
That close, they probably just jump. Right now.
Do you have a huge fence then? No, just kidding. There's so many questions we have now.
Yeah. There it is. So one thing I used to take for granted was our proximity to the port of entries here. So some of our ground, the base of our family farm that's been here since the 40s is about 2 miles from the river, from the border. And actually due west to us is right where the border wall that has existed for many years stops. There's some reservation land, and so there will be barricades in place of where the wall would be. And so it provides kind of an interesting dynamic of different types of traffic across the border. But yeah, where we're at, labor is something that has been a big part of what we do because the winter months are so labor intensive. We're anywhere from 20 to 30,000 people a day during the peak of our harvest seasons that are crossing one port of entry.
Holy smokes.
And yeah, and so we're grateful for that, that accessibility. But we are, just like many parts of the country, we are starting to really see a shortage of folks that want to work in the fields, because it's not always the best environment, but also just the availability of folks that are legally able to. And one thing that our valley, I will say, is very, very strong on is following everything by the book, because it's without patting ourselves on the back. I mean, we're looking at about a $4 billion input to the state of Arizona's GDP with just vegetable production alone in the winter months. So it's not something that can be put up to the test of wanting to, have questionable labor. And so we follow everything to the T out here. One thing that we are experiencing is that a lot of our employees will travel back to Mexico every night. That's just, they've got the documentation, and many of them are citizens of the U.S., but choose to live there 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away to the border, because sometimes it's their family that can't make it across legally, or sometimes it's just because it's cheaper. And so they'll go back every night, and about half of my guys commute back and forth every day. And there's something that they have, it's called Century Pass. It's kind of like the Disney Fast Pass, and you can bypass the longer lines. And on most days, 10, 15 minutes wait time at the port. But sometimes, like earlier this week, I had about half a dozen guys calling us at start time saying, I'm still here in line. I've been here for 2.5 hours. They decided to shut the port down all the way, or sometimes they'll shut it down to one line. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it, but that's just kind of part of farming on the border.
That's like a kid who didn't want to do their homework, telling the teacher that the dog ate it.
Border Patrol got me.
Sorry,
Yeah.
long line at the border today.
Yeah.
I was thinking it's like the carpool lane of you can just blow right through the tolls with your easy pass, your fast pass.
Yeah. I've never even thought of, like, what do you think's going through their mind, like, these H2A workers, because Andy Pastor, our friend in Canada, uses them. So do they know where they're going? I mean, obviously they have to kind of have an idea, but some of them's like, all right, here we go. And then just get over the border. All right, here's this farm. We're just going to go 10 minutes away.
Yeah. Most of the time, the H2A guys and gals are already, I mean, it's pretty thoroughly lined up as to what farm or ranch they're going to right out of the gates. And that's one thing we're seeing here. More farms, I'll back up a little bit. During harvest season, labor intensifies. So many of the shippers that will come from Salinas, California, which takes the reins for the rest of the year during vegetable harvest. But when they come down to Yuma, they're looking for a lot of labor. And so a lot of H2A will come into play with that. And it's already pre-planned, I mean, to the T on housing and all the documentation and requirements. And once they're able to have the people lined up, it's just, they come on over, they put them in a hotel all season, or they'll rent apartments or rent homes or build properties just for that. So
you said,
it's definitely complicated.
20,000 people. There's got to be a full-time job just for the paperwork on that.
Yeah, well, so the 20 to 30,000 people, that's not even H2A labor. That's just the daily harvest season folks that are commuting from Mexico. So H2A labor, a lot of folks don't realize too, H2A doesn't necessarily mean Mexico, right? I mean, I forget what it's up to now, 70, 80 countries qualify to have, folks come on over. I might be wrong on that, but places from all over the world where people can come and work. And that's one thing that's been interesting about growing on social media is the amount of messages I get, and I'm sure I'm not alone in that, of folks basically sending me their resumes, which often include photos of their farms and gardens and families, and saying, anything I can do to try to come and farm in the U.S. I just want an opportunity. And I will say I haven't jumped on that opportunity yet, but this past season I was short about 3 tractor drivers, and we were we were going a little crazy, and somebody I had met on TikTok about a year and a half earlier had sent me a message, said, man, it's getting so snowy here. We're not farming for a while. If you need any drivers, let me know. How serious are you?
Was that Noah?
That was Noah.
Yeah,
so Korean corn farmer. So he came down and stayed with us for a few months and really bailed us out. There were a lot of, at the end of the season, he said, I hope I was some help. And I said, Noah, how many days were you the only driver out in a field? I had 6 guys on head of water irrigating different fields across 2 valleys. And I've got other guys in different tractor operations. Because with vegetable production, I mean, we're talking, a 20-acre side dress or cultivation. We're not using GPS on those. The beds were put up with GPS, but we can't operate with 2 lines of vegetables without taking them out. And so being able to put guys on that and have somebody like him out in the field tilling up was a big help.
I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but that's super cool because he's a great guy too. I mean,
he is
big farm talk guy. Yeah. Did you end up finding him a woman down there by chance?
He's looking.
We didn't, but I'll tell you, man, I figured that would have been the opportunity. I figured he's going to go back and introduce somebody to his mama, but no, it didn't work out. Maybe this next season.
Yeah. There's always hope.
I've always wondered, that was something I wanted to do as a kid was go on a wheat run. But now with the world of social media and the network we've built up with this podcast and TikTok, I do think it'd be fun to travel all year doing different stints with different friends and connections that we've made. Do a couple months with you guys down in Arizona while we're buried in snow here, and then catch a Texas panhandle, get some corn planted down there, travel your way back up.
Yeah.
I've always thought that'd be fun. Of course, the wife and kids right
Good
now.
luck having a family.
Wife, kids, life gets.
Honey, I'll see you in a couple months.
Yeah, or a year. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that would be another way to get the perspective. I mean, that's another thing this podcast has afforded us is I'm learning. Everything that's come out of your mouth is new to me. I mean, I've watched your TikToks, but I still don't know about how you farm. I mean, when you mentioned that the crops coming before the lettuce is Sudan grass and a hardy wheat and alfalfa, I'm like, alfalfa up here is a multi-year crop. You certainly don't plant that and till it up in the same year, but it's probably a precursor.
I did kind of throw that out there, didn't I? We do. We get 4 or 5 cuts in about 6 months, and we rip it right back up. So, for example, we just got let's see, our last field of alfalfa was planted probably the 1st of March. We'll start cutting on it here end of May, and then we're about every 25, 30 days. We can go one irrigation, and then we'll cut. Right now, we are stacking hay that we baled this morning right outside the office window here that we cut on Monday. And that is still, we've had some cool mornings here. Cool mornings, it's been about 60, 65.
Yeah, our high.
But here in about a month, we're going to be cutting, say on a Monday, we'll be raking it on a Wednesday and probably baling it that night. Often one of the only issues with growing hay out here in the desert Southwest is during the summer months, we don't get enough moisture in the air to bale until between about 1 and 3 in the morning. And so that can be kind of tiresome because even though vegetable production is our bread and butter, we're farming 365 days out of the year. And some summers we're so deep into battling Mother Nature and the opposite of what y'all are experiencing across the country that we're just trying to vie for some moisture. And that's where you've probably seen or heard about these steamers that are being used for balers. So a good friend of mine, Trevor Bales in Buckeye, Arizona, using those steamers. And I mean, the hay that he's producing in the middle of the afternoon when it's hot is just beautiful. It's just candy alfalfa, and it's amazing technology.
I still can't believe you're tearing that up. So what's the reason for tearing up alfalfa?
Because the stuff afterwards
is
pays
worth
way
more?
better, probably.
Yeah, he nailed it. I mean, we're the way I say it is we're growing alfalfa on lettuce ground.
Well, that's fair.
So is your alfalfa like dairy quality? Was that the market it's going into?
So, the first couple, 2-3 cuttings, sometimes some of these fields we can get away with some really good top quality retail, and then the rest of it'll, we'll get some bleaching in there because it had to sit another day, or every now and then get some pigweed or some other weeds in there. But thankfully we have some fields that do really well. This actually is our first season. I've got a big baler demo sitting in a shop yard right now that I'm about to sign paperwork on because I've been dragging my feet the last few years, not doing a big baler. We run 5 small balers. We keep busy year round. Even during vegetable season, there's a lot of guys that will fallow out some ground or rotate into some organic, and they'll have alfalfa, and we've got little pedazos, little small blocks here and there to bale up. But with this summer, I mean, more and more exporters are looking for big bale Sudan grass and big bale wheat straw. And so, we have to contract our wheat down here around Halloween, 1st of November. So unfortunately, we locked in some good numbers a few months before things really kind of jumped. Yeah. And so we really are taking advantage of a horrible fertilizer market. We thought we were rejoicing there with the contracts, but either way, we're hoping that if we get this big baler, it'll help us kind of offset some of the costs this year.
So different everywhere around the world.
When you say big baler, you mean like big rounds or big squares?
So funny thing is, I have never seen a round baler in person.
That's crazy.
I've seen them from a bus on a Farm Bureau trip probably 10 years ago, from a window, but I've never seen them. And yeah, we're all cubes out here.
So who's your demo with so we can send them a bill?
Yeah, you know what? We like to go against stream out here. And I don't know if it's across the country, if it is like it is here, where you tend to see a trend of equipment, tractors, implements, and so-and-so got that. Well, now I'm going to try that. And so we kind of go the opposite direction and want to know why some of the other ones aren't used as much. And it's only backfired a couple times, but this big baler is a New Holland baler, and it has really surprised us with what it's able to do. And we're looking for those high density bales during straw, and we've grown quite a bit of Sudan seed this summer as well. So we'll be baling that straw up, and so we're just basically going to bale anything that we can this summer.
There's a guy on TikTok, and I can't remember his username right now, but he has a giant round baler. Have you guys seen that? It makes a 9 foot.
Oh, yeah, it's huge.
A 9 foot diameter round bale. And the other thing that's unique about him is all of his power units are either old Terragators or old like fertilizer spreaders.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Floaters.
Yep.
So you talk about going against the grain. This guy built his own 9 foot round baler, 9 foot diameter round baler, and pulls it with a Terragator. I actually just saw just north of Ankeny, the John Deere factory that puts together the cotton pickers.
Oh yeah, those are cool.
I just saw one of the baler baskets go by on a semi past the studio. I wonder if he used part of the dimensions on a cotton bale.
You had me thinking that, because I was thinking weight-wise, 9 foot's just too much.
I was thinking we hardly ever put it up dry enough. It'd just probably start on fire if you stored it.
Oh, you're right there. So are you using like a swather to cut this down and then tedding it? Do you ted it at all?
So we'll ted our Sudan grass just because it's 7-8 feet tall, give or take, depending. We try not to let it grow too tall. Once those stems get real thick and out of hand, then they just braid when you're trying to put them through the conditioners and then raking and baling them. But we'll ted the Sudan on a rare occasion, just when I can't say when I'm just feeling a little frisky, I'll ted alfalfa just for the fun of it because it's a little tall. But yeah, the tedder, we don't use it as much as we probably should. But when we have, it really has saved us time, because our Sudan grass out here, when we cut it, we're looking at about a 12 to 14 day process from raking, baling, and stacking it. But when we ted, I mean, we cut that on, let's say, a Monday again. I can, rather than wait until the following Monday to rake, I could ted it probably Wednesday, Tuesday, be raking it Friday, possibly baling it the following Tuesday, Wednesday, day 9, day 8.
If we find a 3-day window that it's not going to rain, we try and put up hay, or I do anyway. If there's 3 days and the forecast doesn't say rain, it's like, all right, it's go time. So are you using a hay accumulator then for small squares, or have people packing them on a rack?
Yeah, so we're running 2 New Holland stack cruisers, or harrow beds. I have to say harrow bed because I'll tell you, we can talk a little Tick-Tock here. That's where, if anybody has seen any of my TikToks over the last couple months, I'm developing a character called Backseat Farmer. And that stems from all of the keyboard farmers that we tend to see. God bless them. I am not a real confrontational fellow, and I am very sarcastic, though. So those two things don't do well together. And so I've developing this character to kind of allow me to get some of that worked out. So often when I've done videos showing our stack cruisers, it's a harrow bed. Sorry. Here's our harrow bed. That's a bale wagon. Sorry. Here's our bale wagon. You're stealing jobs from the kids. They should be out there. And so it's fun because a lot of the bales that we bale up, when I know they're going to a feedlot, say, or a dairy, and we're putting 120, 125 pound small bales, and I got somebody out there saying, I can't believe you're stealing jobs. Well, why don't you go load a stack?
Right. No
Tell me how fun it is when they're that heavy. But 3-string, they get a little out of hand sometimes, but no, those machines have really just helped us out. And that's another reason why we've looked into the big baler, is because with going back to the labor discussions, there's been times of the year where I'm short, just plain short for whatever the reason, and I don't have the guys to run all my small balers, and I'm out there trying to check the hay while I'm trying to rake or trying to bale, and being able to run one big baler and then one roadsider right behind it. I was just the other day, real quick, somebody asked me what we call it in Spanish, and the Spanish down here is real different. I'm learning than the rest of the country, but for years we've just called them sacapacas, because they sacar las pacas, they take up the bales. And apparently that's really close to some cuss words. I don't know. Speak carefully, y'all, if you're listening to this, but we're running the sacapacas out there.
Sacapacas.
Yep, I'm just imagining what curse words those are.
Yeah.
I'm about ready to Google it as far as that goes. But
Hey, Siri.
Yeah.
I did. Yeah, we'll do that. That's the fun. Yeah. Hey Siri, because now it's going to activate whoever's Siri is close
Yeah.
by when they listen. To no, I had noticed that you started doing creating that backseat farmer character, and assume that has to do with a green screen. I mean, just you.
I don't know if it is. Is it a green screen or is it just editing?
Going back to the earlier part of the discussion, I have used my son's green screen twice in any of my videos. The rest of it is just editing myself with myself. And the reason I kind of started to go that route is I was just having a day where I really, you just want to start typing comments back and replies, and you just delete them, and you go, don't. It's going to do no good. You don't know this person, whatever. And I did one video where I had backseat farmer telling me how to farm. And, it's funny how once some videos hit, it tends to fall off after a while. So they haven't really got a ton of engagement, but I'm having fun with them.
Yeah.
So I'm going to keep building them and really just trying to develop the discussion and trying to give people an example of what a lot of farmers and ranchers are experiencing in real time. And so that's where just having those connections and being able to put myself edited in a video. Often I never have scripts. So I just go out there, I'm shooting from the hip, and I kind of look into the distance, kind of where I think I'll stand when I change my shirt and my hat. And then I just kind of create an argument with myself. So I don't know what that means, if I'm really good arguing with myself.
That's good.
You need to argue as well growing corn. I want to see backseat farmer and growing corn
I
together.
messaged a few of them already, including Tony there.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna try to put the backseat farmer. So I started the first few videos in the backseat of the truck, and we'll continue to do that. But he's evolving into the field now, and so my intentions are from there, letting anybody listening in on the, by June maybe we'll be out there. But I'm going to be putting him in other people's farms and ranches, and just kind of popping up to tell them that they're doing stuff wrong. So hopefully it's received.
Well, if you need any additional connections in the Farm Talk community, don't hesitate to ask us once we get done recording. We can help connect you. And I had another comment where I was going
Chuck
with
Weldon
that.
would love that.
I need him.
yeah,
I need him in John at Staple Farms, the BTO.
Oh, that's
the big
right.
time operator.
You do need John. I remember where I was going with that. And I appreciate you doing that, because it's not just people who have a large social media following that are getting the backseat farmer treatment. It's anybody that's listening to this podcast right now that has had the neighbor or the guy up at coffee or the guy at the elevator telling them that they're doing it wrong without having any clue as to how their own farm is operating. So, kudos to you. I hope the message gets out and gets through to people. I mean, it's entertaining, yes, but there is an underlying message.
That goes across all genres, though. Auctioneering the other day, there's one auctioneer on this side of the world that listened to another auctioneer that I follow over here, and he said he's horrible, and I couldn't listen to it. You need to go to auction school, and they're just going back and forth between the two. So.
Yeah. But John said it best. He said, God bless them, because TikTok feeds off of these people.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Right? Like the people that are naysayers on your comments in your comment section drive your views. So thank you.
So it's been fun because I never anticipated my videos from a field. I was just trying to do those. Look, I'll be honest. I looked around, saw people going, hey, here today on the farm, this is what we're doing. And I thought, I'll do that. I'll make it short. I'm standing on some rows. But the way I had the camera set up just created this interesting perspective. And so from there, it has created so many comments and discussions of, the theorizing of if I'm in the field and what am I standing on and why do I not have any feet? And then people are going back to videos from 4 or 5 months ago telling me my hat is glitching and my hands are glitching. And what's fun is I can tell a lot of times when people are having fun trolling them on my behalf almost. And it's like, man, I appreciate that because I can tell they're going, no, it's got to be fake. But the fact that now I have people arguing over my feet are glitching when the backseat farmer is talking to me. I'm trying to figure out if I need to tell people that I don't have a twin. I thought this was an obvious answer, but it's being discussed now, and I love it.
Well, we have had the pleasure of having Field Rose on, and that's one to where they are twin brothers, and it really throws people off.
It's real.
It's definitely real.
It's real. So I could see maybe that was the preclusion as to why people are confused about you maybe having a twin.
Could be. Yeah, it could be. But you know what? Having fun with it because, like you say, reading those comments when people say, you're just doing it for the views. Welcome to TikTok.
Yeah.
Welcome to TikTok.
Yeah, why are you here?
Thanks for commenting.
You're viewing. Thank you.
Thanks for viewing.
Yeah, and that's right. So a lot of times, there are some really deep discussions that I'll jump into because one, I can see that there's a whole thread happening within my video that is about what I'm doing, and there's speculation, and then there's arguing, and I realize I need to jump in. Other times, I'll leave it be and just kind of let them have fun with it. But I would say credit to so many farmers and ranchers out there and dairymen and women, just everybody in farming that I'm watching that has done a great job of trying to engage respectfully because it's hard. And I will say TikTok, I joke with my wife on the regular that I feel like TikTok has given me opportunities to practice being slow to speak and quick to listen.
Yeah.
More often than I ever thought I would have an opportunity. And now I sit here and I think these are real people. And while a lot of them are trolling and just saying stuff to get our response, got them to respond to me, a lot of them are truly concerned or curious or have a child with a certain allergy or, have read something, heard something. And who better to answer those questions than us sometimes?
Yep.
I thought you were going to stop at TikTok gave me opportunities. I'm glad that you expanded it beyond that because it's done both, all of the above. But
It has.
I like the depth. Go ahead, Dave.
What's your wife think of TikTok?
So last week was the first time that I get a text message. Okay, just got recognized in Target as the farmer's wife or the Farmer Jon's wife. Don't know how to feel about that. I was like, oh my gosh. I've been trying to put her in more videos because she's hilarious. She's way smarter than me too. So her humor that she doesn't recognize as humor, people love it because they can tell she is far out of my league. I don't know how I was able to marry her, but extremely fortunate. And I texted her this morning. I was in a gas station and a couple of gals were looking at me and I thought, oh man, did I not zip or something? And they walked by and said, hey, love your TikToks. And so I texted my wife, hey, just so you know, I got noticed at the gas station. So just, want to make sure we're on the same page here. And we all laughed though. Thankfully, she's been a sweetheart about it. And sometimes, like tonight, probably, normally we do pizza night every couple of weeks at the house and make your own pizza. And so that's when we do either mean comments or we'll sit there and I'll film, us telling a story. If you find, I think I've got it pinned on my page, but it's a video called The Burrito Incident where I was just recording us talking. And she's like, do you remember that picture your dad took of me when I was pregnant with our first son and I was eating a burrito? I'm like, oh man, this is it right here. This is real life. So for anybody who hasn't been to the page, shameless plug, but try to keep it as real as possible and trying to introduce more of my family into the mix.
Yeah, I could see a Mrs. Farmer Jon
There you go.
account coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I will tell you, before we taste this next beer, Dave, I'll have you grab that and let them know what we're tasting. I don't know if it's just my willingness to observe and I'm looking for what I want to see, but I do feel like a lot of us on TikTok in this little community definitely married up.
Yes.
It's like everywhere. You sit there and you go, wow, good job.
I grew a beard because of this. No, kidding.
Let's taste this beer first before we talk about
let's
beards.
try
All right, Millstream Brewing Company again, knee high.
No twigs and berries this time?
No twigs and berries. Got a big old
Heffenweizen.
Heffenweizen got a big old bowl on the front.
So shouldn't they have put a heifer on the front of a Hefeweizen?
Did you say a bull or a bull?
They got a bull,
Yeah, it's got a
like
big bowl
a.
See, when you talk about bulls out here
Angus?
on the West Coast, we think something different.
Yeah, I was just going to say, you're not even talking cotton. You're talking some recreational. But don't you think if it's a Hefeweizen, they should have put a heifer?
They should have put a heifer there.
That's us ag guys.
Oh, good
It's
little
pretty
heifer
good.
here.
It's kind of got that same like it almost wanted to be a sour, but it's not.
Dave's not
It's
going to
light.
like this one.
I didn't like it as much. Nope.
What is the aftertaste? It's
Hefeweizen.
it's
It's whatever this
Definitely
is.
Hefeweizen.
Little hop on there.
it is definitely.
Well, there's a little hop on this one though.
Oh, little.
It's good though.
That's pretty good. So we've had this conversation internally amongst the three of us because the facial hair is come and gone from my two co-hosts, but I keep mine. Mine's sheer for the fact so I don't look like I'm 14 still. But Dave will grow a beard and he's like, oh, I don't know, should I keep it? Should I not? And then he always shaves it off no matter
Yeah,
how
Dave
many
grows a
times
great beard.
Corey and I tell him to keep it.
Mine's crappy. It's there by default usually. I shave like once a month.
But I did see the comparison of you with the beard and without, and with no reading between the lines, you definitely should keep the beard.
Appreciate that. Yeah, you know what? I thought I'd take part of that trend of the little, hourglass or stopwatch, whatever it was. I had some interesting messages and comments about the beard. I mean, one of them even said, that looks like your brother that sells furniture downtown. I don't even know what that means, but I guess I'm keeping it. No, you know what? I've told my wife for years that I feel like it's my superpower. I mean, I could shave twice a day if I really wanted to. And back last year sometime, we agreed that we're going to give it a shot. I say we, because this is a we thing. And thankfully, the CEO, CFO signed off. And no, I'm kidding. She seems to like it. And so now I'm learning about beard care. But I will say, when even my own mother asked me, so are you dyeing those? Like, did you make those white streaks? Nope, Mom. It's al natural. So,
Yeah. You can't see it, listeners, but his beard is nice and black. But then, as like where the Fu Manchu, I would say, like that extends down from the
He
mustache.
said it best. It's got a skunk stripe.
Yeah, it's a skunk stripe. It's white down it. It looks great.
thank you.
That's fun. The other videos that I liked watching, it's because it doesn't happen here, is your land leveling. So to me, we've got a lot of different conversations in our neck of the woods about no-till and strip-till and just all types of tillage practices to avoid soil erosion. To me, it looks like almost freaking powder when you guys are going through with the land leveler to, obviously there's a purpose for it, but there's nothing there except for just dirt.
I should do a better job of getting closer to the ground and let y'all see what we're dealing with. We still have quite a few dirt clods in those fields, and really what we're trying to do is just level that ground as best we can to be able to move water across the field. So those fields are as flat as can be with a slight grade away from the ditch. So one thing that I hadn't communicated is all of our irrigation is surface water, and so that's a big discussion right now in this whole region. And so with those discussions, more drip being applied, different irrigation practices, and as we laser level, that really helps us use far less water than we ever have.
I saw one of the implements on your TikTok that I'd never seen before that we saw at the National Farm Machinery Show go out there, that it cuts open the last part for the water to flow through, and it's got like paddles, and it's a big spider looking deal.
That thing's mesmerizing.
I don't know what it is, but I never seen it before.
When you see it at the show, you have no idea.
Yeah,
what the
we're
hell
walking
this
around the
thing's
show.
for.
We're like, I know what that is. I know what the hell is that?
Yeah, the little helicopter.
Yeah.
Yeah, that Blake Burberia, he came up with that, and guy is a good guy, and he's got one of those minds that we need in the industry. It may not look like much to people, and if they haven't seen the video, I think I shared a video recently on it. The fun of that implement is, if I say fun, probably the poor choice, but the efficiency in that implement is that there are times in produce season where we are frantically trying to prep a field that, let's say I wake up and the weather forecast changed and it's 10 degrees warmer than we thought, and it's 95 degrees on November 30th. And I thought I could stretch a romaine or a head lettuce irrigation through the weekend and say, I'll water it up Monday. We don't farm by the calendar out here. Everything is very precise as much as we can be, so that we're conserving water, conserving fertilizers. And more often than not, people tend to overlook the importance of water in the wrong way. I'm not a master gardener by any means, but overwatering your vegetables is one of the best ways to slow it down or not get it to harvest. So before a lettuce crop has committed or cupped over, you really want to just kind of let it stretch and grow. But there are times where we get out there and all of a sudden, I've got to get 20 acres, which could be depending on the size of the block, it may only be a 500-foot run. So I'm now looking at 700 rows. So 1,400 furrows that need to be shoveled out. Can I get 6 guys? Can I get 7, 8 guys? There's been plenty of days where I've had all my children out there with me, except for my 7-year-old, because no offense, I love you, Lucy, but she's no good with the shovel just yet. And that implement really does save us, though. When people say, I've even been told on videos of that implement, am I taking away jobs with that implement? Look, if I had a line of people ready to do that, and for good pay, that's the other thing. A lot of folks, will say, yeah, well, if you paid more. I read a comment today that really made sense, and I don't want to spark any controversial topics, but just the idea alone, if you could pay somebody in gold bars, and there will still be people that complain about the weight of those gold bars.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, we're just at a point where we need technology, we need mechanization, and so that implement has really helped us be able to have peace of mind in knowing we can get a field ready in a matter of minutes as opposed to 2 days.
John, speaking of technology, have you followed Huey Be Cool? You heard that name?
Absolutely.
So with Nebulum and growing lettuce vertically, and what's your thoughts on that?
I love it. I mean, I've been looking into it, and if I say looking into it, I'm by no means heavily in the depths of research on it, but Googling as much as I can, trying to catch up with people on social media who are into that. I'm looking at just buying my own individual experimental vertical setup. And I think that there is a lot to be said for that technology, just like in the till, no-till, on how we laser level or farm out here. There are methods to the madness, and there are reasons behind the types of farming. But I will say, perhaps into the far, far future, I think that technology is going to be absolutely necessary.
You should come visit us in Ames, and then you can visit the facility as well.
So Huey,
I would love to see it.
Huey's only about 15 miles north of us.
Yep.
No kidding.
not even
I
that.
will come see you guys. Absolutely. No, I want to come see it because I've debated where we're at with the water process down here. If I need to consider, well, I know I need to consider, but how heavily and how seriously do I need to start considering moving, some production into that direction?
Yeah, I was also going to say back before your comment, people can no longer say, are you taking away jobs from people? Because people don't even want to frickin' work.
Yeah.
Period. Like you can't go into a fast food restaurant around here anymore because there's only enough people to run the window.
Yeah, I tried to go into Wendy's the other day and I couldn't go in the lobby.
No.
Drive up only.
Yeah. And now it's all text message. Well, we were just talking about it earlier. Not text message, but QR code. You basically have people to bring you food, but you don't have servers anymore at a couple of our restaurants.
Yep.
And so there's just a QR code with a menu. You order it yourself.
Yep. And
Jeez.
I wanted to go into photography. You said you're an amateur photographer. Are you really? Or were you into photography before you got into the TikTok scene?
Yeah. You know what? I thought I was just going to be like many, just watching videos and not posting any content on TikTok because, I have some videography experience, but none of it was in portrait.
Yeah.
It was all landscape and typically of things that just allow people to kind of catch their breath by looking at a view. And I have loved photography since I was a little kid. My very first camera it was this cheap little camera and had this fake viewfinder that you would flip up. And I remember being, 7 or 8 years old, standing in my driveway, and hot air balloons every year in November fly over. And I accidentally had a double exposure capture, and I didn't know that until I got my pictures picked up from the grocery store.
Yep.
Yeah, kids, we used to take our film to the grocery store to get it, taken care of. But I remember looking at that picture thinking that I just created a masterpiece. It was rows of lettuce and a hot air balloon, and they were kind of both, double exposed. And so from then on, I started carrying a camera with me everywhere I went. And much later in my life, long after my first grandfather passed away, I was helping clean out the attic, and I came across a box that said my grandpa's cameras. And I had forgotten, because he died when I was pretty young, that he was a photographer in the Air Force. And when I saw those old cameras, it just, you talk about a confirmation, my heart just leapt, and I was sweating up there, trying not to cry, looking at these cameras. And I'm just thinking, hey, maybe there's a greater purpose to my joy for this. And so my wife has, over the years, encouraged me to try to take it more serious and, develop a website, because every year, thankfully, I've had a lot of opportunities to work with publications and many organizations within the industry and out of the industry. And of the 2 times I've tried to really make it more formal, both times the love for it just dropped. And so for now, I'm just enjoying still doing that as a hobby, and I'm still an amateur. This is one of the first photos that I ever took that I started to learn how to edit. I think I still oversaturated it, but just the idea that you can capture a moment and long after I'm gone, that will be around for people to think of and see. And so grateful for that.
That's pretty cool. So if we were to set our own camera up to film us in front of like a soybean crop, and we wanted it to look like we were on a green screen, what's the key?
You're asking for all the secrets?
I want the secrets. I want the secrets.
What the exclusive?
No one listens to this podcast.
Google
so it's
Snapseed.
fine.
Google Snapseed. That's what you
We're
need.
50-some minutes in. Nobody's listening anymore.
This will be the caption, right? No, the thumbnail. That'll be great. But in all seriousness, I don't mind sharing it all. That's the fun part about all the videography and photography. It's the only reason I've learned. I love to toy around with all these free apps. I'll buy one every now and then, but that CapCut app, I'm new to the iPhone. I got an iPhone sometime last fall. I was a Google Pixel guy forever. So grab CapCut. I'm sure there are other apps that do this. CapCut, if you hear me, please sponsor me.
Amen. We'll work on that for you.
Yeah. First thing you want to do is grab, it's better to have a background that doesn't have a lot, like this bookshelf behind me, too much is happening. Mm-hmm. Put yourself in front of a wall or a sky or something. And then once you upload your video, just go into remove background and then start to overlay yourself onto different objects and videos. And then the real fun is, finding videos that complement them and going from there. So in the beginning, those were photos that I was just putting myself over. And that's one reason why people would say, the wind's not blowing. Well, I mean, it really did look like that day, but I, in fact, was putting myself over my own photo just to kind of toy with people. But
that's pretty good. I had also come across, I can't remember where I saw it, on your Instagram or on your TikTok, that you do such a good job with your pictures that other people might use them. And we have a co-host who has the same experience.
It happens, and it is frustrating. It's happened, for a long time, but a watermark or no watermark. I actually just created a YouTube channel last week.
Yeah, it's got one subscriber.
Yeah, that's probably myself. Late to the game, but just thought, you know what, I need to jump on this and just have some fun with it. At least, if anything, a place to archive videos and practice. And once I started searching YouTube for the Farmer Jon, I was pleasantly disappointed. I was discouraged at how many of my videos were already up there from other sites, but other pages. But the photography end of things, it happens. When I go to sleep at night, try to take it as a compliment, and there's always more for me to learn and try to continue to do better every day about how to protect my images and my videos. And figured if I keep pushing out enough content that keeps other people happy, then I don't know, life's short.
I like to steal your pictures, Corey.
I was just saying,
David steals my pictures.
steal the
Farm
crap.
Bureau steals my pictures.
Steal the crap out of them.
I actually had one yesterday. I was interviewed by a news channel in Eastern Iowa, and it was the girl was nice as heck, and she's like, "Hey, could you send me some pictures and or any videos of your farm?" Well, gladly. I sent her 10, 12 pictures and 4 or 5 videos, and she used them, and they look good. One of the videos was not one that I sent her. Oh, where did you get this? Where did you get this? TikTok or whatever. And I'm just like, was it not good enough what I sent you?
Was it one of your videos that she
It was
used?
the Bush Light Combine.
Oh, okay.
That's all they want you for.
But I asked her, I was like, you don't want the Bush Light Combine, do you? Because most time news channels don't want that, And then she threw it in there.
Huh.
So, I don't know. Every day.
Well, we aren't ashamed of stealing things, especially from our friends, but we're finding out that we might be starting a Vance Crowe segment on this podcast. So I don't know if you follow Vance Crowe or if you've ever heard of him.
I've met Vance and know quite a bit about him.
Stellar dude. Huge fan of our podcast. We're a huge fan of Vance's, but it seems like about every couple of days he's got a tweet that goes out that just makes you sit back and go, huh.
Yeah.
And the one that I want to talk about today is his question. Obviously, we're recording this on the 6th of May for listeners. You've probably already seen this and thought about it, but I saw that you're a graduate of Arizona University, right? AU?
U of A. Yep.
Or U of A, whichever, yeah. Chose the college route. And the question is, you're 18 years old. you have the same options available to you when leaving high school that you did when you left high school, but you're in the present day. You have zero savings. What direction do you head? So if you were to make that decision all over again in today's environment versus when you actually graduated from high school the first time, college, trade school, workforce, target of being, the goal is to be financially stable by the age of 40. Would you go the same route?
Parenting 5 kids is fun because it gives me a lot of opportunity to see different personalities and different strengths and weaknesses. And in my children, I see myself, and then I see areas that I wished I would have been more like as a kid. I don't want to give you a fluff answer, but I will say in this day and age, knowing how many skilled individuals we need out here, I would much rather encourage somebody to find that skill that lights a fire in them and take it as far as it'll take them, whether that means a degree, in paper, or whether that means you're going to become the best AC technician or best welder. If I know that a skill is needed and you enjoy to do it, I just love seeing so many young welders now.
Yeah.
So I don't mean to not give you a straight answer. If it was me, I guess, that's a tough one. I think it's easy to say, I'll go the route that used to be preached the most, got to get my degree. And I don't know. I think I've always loved to farm my entire life, and I knew I wanted to do something in agriculture. And I think just finding an opportunity wherever it is. That's so many young people message me and ask, what's one thing you would tell, me, I'm 14, 15, 16, 17, and I think I want to be a farmer. What do I do? Where do I start? It's such a hard question to answer, but go to your closest opportunity and learn as much as you can, as fast as you can.
Yeah, the lineup of answers, I don't know if you read through the post or not, but the lineup of answers below are a wide range. And the ones that are the most intriguing, especially those that are actively farming that responded, said, find the people that you respect the most or you think are the most successful and offer to work for free for an extended period of time, whether it's 3 months or a year or whatever it is. And I'm like, that's great in concept. I know why you're saying that. But that's a long time to work for free when there's other bills that need to be paid. I understand when you're going to college, you're working for free. You're actually working for negative because you're paying them to go to work for a degree. The other parts I wanted to kind of debate. So if I think about my own profession of being a banker, I needed the degree to get my first job. But ever since then, I don't think it's ever really been much of a consideration as far as all the promotions have gone until recently. And now I'm going back to school. Now I'm going back to the Graduate School of Banking because you get to a point to where more schooling is required. So I don't know if I would have changed with my passion for finance if I had changed the path that I went. But to caveat this, there is a shortage of trades. We get that. But where's the surplus of talent? What degree are kids graduating right now with that can't find jobs?
Liberal arts.
Is that what it is? Or are they still also getting jobs?
What jobs do they have?
Is it just a shortage of willingness to work? You know what I mean? Is it not necessarily that we don't have trades training or just the fact that we just don't have workers working?
I would definitely say both. I just sat through an orientation a week or two ago for my oldest daughter. She's finishing up her junior year, going into senior year into a nursing class. The intentions are by the time they get done in this senior nursing class, that the test that they take to pass the class will be exactly close to what they'll need to take for the state to become a CNA. And from there, if they want to continue on LPN, RN, et cetera. And what I appreciated so much about this teacher and this orientation was bringing back that old school idea of you can graduate high school with enough knowledge to hit the ground running in something that you love to do that can then theoretically propel you even farther. That's beautiful. I think all too often I experience people coming to the farm looking for work. I had to tell a young guy looking for work last year, wouldn't shake my hand, was smoking, leaning up next to a acetylene and oxygen tank. It's beyond not a willingness to work. There's just there is a lack of consideration and care for the seriousness of your life.
Yeah.
And maybe that goes deeper than I probably
Common
want to jump
sense.
into, but I think a lot of folks, look around and may see you three and your successes and myself and others and say, I want that, and may not realize what it took to get there beyond a degree, beyond, certain life experiences. So yeah, a willingness definitely has a lot to do with that, in my opinion.
Yeah, I didn't think about it on that side of it, but I don't disagree one bit. It's a thought-provoking post that makes you wonder, because when you brought that up, I think I would have tried to have gotten more college credits done in high school.
Ooh, I did that.
Yeah.
I wish I would have done more of that.
That was good.
I
I graduated in 3.5 years because
Right.
of that, which
Right.
then was kind of stupid
Saves.
because I lost a half year of fun. I don't know.
But see, having that though, being able to graduate high school with something more than just your high school diploma.
Right.
No disrespect to high school setups here in the country, but when you look back at 60s and 70s and other eras where people could graduate high school with a trade, with a skill, something that could put them into society and already have that sense of purpose. You look at the younger generations right now that are coming up, and I know we could have another, multiple hours talking about it, but so many individuals seem to be seeking that purpose, seeking that reason, and being able to have a skill and a passion says a lot for individuals. And I think when you can help give them that right out of high school, I think that's huge.
Did you see Vance Crows this week, or are you going to save that for another episode?
I did see it. I mean, you can give a preclusion. Maybe our listeners can comment in, but I thought it was another good one to say.
I don't know word for word, but it was, if we were growing crops in a unsubsidized economy, so no government helping ethanol, no government helping this or that, food stamps, that kind of stuff, what would farmers grow?
Lettuce.
Lettuce. Definitely lettuce. Because everyone wants
It
a
certainly
salad.
wouldn't be kale.
Marijuana. Marijuana.
Hey, kale chips, come on.
That's funny. Yeah, the marijuana was a good one too.
So that's a good one to think on.
yeah,
Think about it, and we'll talk about it
we can
next show.
Absolutely. No, that's really good. So, John, we appreciate you spending time with us. Over an hour of your afternoon on a Friday afternoon. At least you got to have a cerveza with us.
Absolutely.
But as we wrap every one of our shows, our biggest fans know that the question we ask everybody is, what do you know now that you wish you would have known sooner? So listeners, while he's thinking about that, remember, it's Farm4Profit LLC at gmail.com. If you have any other ideas for guests or topics. Also, if you have any voicemails that you want to send us or text messages you want to send us, it's 515-207-9640. So send that our way. We appreciate you listening in. We appreciate everything that you have done for us to get our audience to the size that it has. And Jonathan, what do you think? What do you know now that you wish you'd have known sooner?
It's okay to expect failure. Life is happening so fast, just like every grandparent, every parent, every friend of my parents, other farmers that I looked up to would always say, hey, it happens fast. It does. And I would say, expect failure. And that's okay. That doesn't mean stop. It doesn't mean you are a failure. But when you look around at so many people in your industry or maybe just individuals you look up to, they have experienced, they have anticipated failure, and they are where they are at because they never stopped.
Nice.
Great.
That was a good one. Absolutely. And I don't know, listeners, if you could tell behind, but we have been itching for spring to get here, and Dave was getting a little bit
Trying to open the garage door.
excited.
Tanner said he was hot, so I thought I'd cool her down in here just a little bit.
Get
But
the garage door opened up.
So
But
let me ask though, what's the temperature outside right now?
I just looked at my watch. We're 61.
It's 103 degrees here.
and you're wearing a button-up shirt. Oh my goodness!
Long sleeves. I mean, that's sunblock.
Yeah.
That's fair. No, we are going to potentially see 90s in the next couple of
Yeah,
days.
next week.
Yeah. Which is crazy. We're going from March to July.
Yeah.
Yeah. July, typically in the evenings, we don't drop lower than 85, 90 degrees.
Wow.
Corn would not like that.
Nope. Which is why he grows lettuce.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, that's in November.
Yep.
No, this has been a pleasure. I'm glad that you.
You what?
I'm glad. Yeah, it's the same thing.
Oh, green queen.
Something about green screen and pleasure.
I'm glad.
What have you guys been drinking? 5.7 alcohol?
Yeah, can you
Twigs and berries.
Yep, absolutely sending it your way. Glad that you connected with us on Instagram. If people want to find you, how can they find you, John?
I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter at TheFarmerJon, Jon. And holler at me with any questions about growing vegetables.
Awesome. Thank you. We appreciate it. Listeners,
Appreciate you, fellas.
until next time, have a good one.